So you can actually have a culture that's very employee-centric, and I think that will help attract great talent and keep great talent within the organization.
It's National Small Business Week, and this year small businesses have a lot to contend with. From changing employee expectations to AI to a shifting economic landscape, small business owners are showing that it takes grit and wisdom to pursue their dreams. With me today are experts in the small business space, Matt Farwell and Aaron Stark. Thanks for joining us.
It's great to be here. Thank you.
I'd love to start this conversation with talent. People are often the superpower for organizations, especially small businesses. Matt, how do you see the current talent landscape for small businesses?
Yeah, well, I love how you put it. People are the superpower for not only small businesses, but businesses of all sizes. When I think about the talent landscape, there are really three things that I think are playing a relatively large role in the talent landscape, generally speaking. The first is some market uncertainty. The second is really around evolving expectations of the workforce. And then third, there are still seemingly some shortages in really skilled workers, depending on the industry that you're looking at to hire in. What we have seen across our small business space and the small businesses owners that I'm talking to is really this idea on how do we continue to compete with these larger organizations in terms of competitive pay and benefit offerings. And if you can do those things, what we have seen is there is an opportunity to actually go out and find the right talent.
That's great insight, Matt. Really appreciate it. Aaron, a lot of attention right now is on training and upskilling talent. Why is skills training, which Matt referred to earlier, so important for small businesses to gain an edge?
Well, I would start with it's not cheap to run a small business. And if you think about the costs that are inherent in either hiring a new employee or replacing an existing employee, you have a couple different options. And one of the best ones that we've seen is if you can actually add some of the new skills, whether that's critical thinking or problem solving, to the set of talents that your current employees have today, you could potentially not have to go out there and hire somebody new because now you've actually invested into the existing population, or having to replace talent within your organization, which now you're going to have a ramp-up period, and all those things incur costs that could affect your bottom line as a business. And that's why upskilling and being able to add new talents to your existing organization is critical for businesses today.
Yeah, and I think that it's really important from an upskilling perspective because it really helps from a retention aspect of that in terms of making sure they do what the business owner wants them to do in terms of learning, in terms of how they interact with clients and the services or products that they provide as well. Matt, so you ran a small business. So from that lens, I'd love to hear your perspective on how small business owners can manage their day-to-day given today's trends.
Well, I think it varies again by industry, but the small business that I ran was a family-owned business. It was in the construction industry. But I think that the advice that I would give, especially as a small business in really any sector, is one to really focus on building out that culture, that best-in-class small business culture. One of the benefits that small business owners have is many times they don't have layers of management. So you can actually have a culture that's very employee-centric, and I think that will help attract great talent and keep great talent within the organization. The second thing that I would call out is don't bite off more than you can chew. Having been in a small business myself, when we got ourselves in trouble, it was primarily because we had this itch to grow and to grow as fast as possible. And there were times where we would actually take on more work than we could actually get done. And the third thing that I would say is look for ways to leverage technology to really streamline and improve your operational cycle. This is an area where I think a lot of small business owners are really relying very heavily on people to get work done. And there are a lot of opportunities both in the front office and the back office of these small businesses to leverage technology to really help you scale your business.
I'm a daughter of a small business owner, so I've definitely seen the challenges in terms of the passion and the growth challenges in terms of how you expand a business as well. So you talked about the technology in terms of leveraging. Is there anything else a small business can do in terms of, outside of just like learning a little bit more, but really investing into figuring out how they can use that to leverage it across their organization?
Yeah, there's a lot of it is just research. So it usually starts with where do I have an opportunity? Where do I see some sort of operational opportunity to become more streamlined or more efficient. And they're going out and doing the research on what software solutions are out there. One trend we're seeing in the fintech space is you now have embedded solutions. So you can eliminate manual or dual entry into certain software programs and really, again, focus on streamlining that end-to-end process.
So I think those trusted advisors are really important based on what you're
Absolutely.
sharing. Great.
Absolutely.
So Aaron, how are you seeing small businesses address AI in their operations today?
I think you're seeing different flavors of it. I think the one that probably comes to mind, just because it's something that you may see on a day-to-day basis, is all this new like content creation. So whether it's videos or marketing material, if you're anything like my almost 13-year-old daughter, I mean, on her phone, she can create a PowerPoint presentation. And now for a small business owner, they can leverage this new technology to create Hollywood quality production videos that they're putting out into the market to gain new share. However, some of the ones that may not be as present, and Matt was talking about this before, is how do I remove, and when you think about AI, it's also just new technologies that help me with data entry, things that aren't necessarily adding value to my business. I now can use different technologies that synthesize those platforms, so I have one single source of truth that I can go to manage my business more effectively, more efficiently, and then again goes back to like how do I actually impact both my bottom line, but also impact the quality of services that I could provide to my clients or the value I could bring to my employees.
So then how does someone maintain that human connection?
Yeah, it's funny. I think the best utilizations, whether it's AI or technology, are the ones that you don't see on a daily basis. It's actually the ones that kind of remove some of the busy work behind the scenes, where you can actually give the employee more meaningful work, where I could show up on a daily basis and that employee knows that I'm adding value to either the business itself or the customers that you're serving. And then if all of a sudden you're removing a lot of time that was being spent behind the scenes, now I, as the small business owner, can actually spend more time with the people that matter most, which is either my clients or my employees.
I think it goes back to the passion that Matt just shared, as well as the retention of their employees as well.
100%.
Well, thank you, Matt and Aaron, for joining us today. For more information on trends impacting a small business right now, check out adp.com/gritandwisdom.